Hi, welcome to Let's Cook Today, where we are talking tomato or tomato. Doesn't matter what you want to call it. It was in 1898 that the U.S. Supreme Court actually made a ruling and called the tomato, which is actually a fruit, belonging to the same family as potatoes, eggplant, and petunias, a vegetable. Got a little bit of trivia here you might not know. China produces more tomatoes than any other country in the world. 16% of all tomatoes produced in the world are produced in China. It's loaded with potassium. It's very good for you. It also is loaded with antioxidants, so it's very healthy for us to eat. Now, what they're doing with tomatoes now, whether you're using a plum tomato here, or you have a beefsteak tomato here, or you have a cherry tomato, or you have a pear tomato, or you have a the boutique tomatoes that they're coming up with now with the seeds, the organic tomato, doesn't matter. There's a couple of things that maybe you don't like. Maybe you want to peel the tomato to remove the skin if you're making a salad. That's a nice thing to do. Maybe you want to squeeze out the seeds when you're using tomatoes because the seeds have a tendency of being a little bitter. Doesn't really matter, but this time of year tomatoes are fantastic, whether they're grown in a field or they're grown in a greenhouse and they're grown hydroponically, which means they're not in soil, that they're simply grown with water that's been treated to feed the tomato plant. What they have done with tomatoes, however, is they have taken a tomato and they've bred it to a point where it has a much longer shelf life. And because by doing that, they're really taking away the character of the tomato. It just is losing it, and that's where you get the mealy tomato and so forth. To avoid that, when you're buying tomatoes, don't put your tomatoes in the refrigerator. If you put them in the refrigerator, they're going to stop ripening. You just stop the process. And make sure that where you're buying them, they haven't been in a refrigerator. Refrigerator is different than chilled storage. So chilled storage, a lot of times when they're shipped, they are shipped chilled. Now, first thing I'm going to show you today is everybody has heard the term sun-dried tomato. What I'm doing is I have some beautiful plum tomatoes here, and what you can do when plum tomatoes are on sale, or if you pick them from your garden, you can make your own oven-dried, which can also be known as AKA sun-dried tomatoes, which is, by the way, the oldest form of preserving anything is actually sun drying. So we just take our tomatoes like this, plum tomatoes, we leave the skin on. We put them on I'm putting these on a sill pad, that way they won't stick, but I just set these all up so that the skin side is down, the flesh side is up. I season these with salt, no pepper, just a little bit of salt, and then I'll use olive oil spray, and I just spray them. I pop these in the oven, 200 degrees for 8 to 12 hours, based on how long it's going to take. And I already have some done right here. And I'll just show you, actually I'm going to show you before and after here so you can actually see. But you see how nice they dry out. Now these are oven-dried tomatoes. When they get like this, what you're going to do is you're just going to let them cool down. And this is going to be a little bit more moist than would be a sun-dried tomato. Sometimes when you buy sun-dried tomatoes, they're a little bit more moist or a little bit drier, depends. You have to really see what you like. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, I'm making a fried tomato salad timbal with a delicious white balsamic bacon dressing. Don't go anywhere. It's Tomato today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we are making a terrific tomato timbal salad now. To make this, basically I'm going to use some white bread croutons, but I'm going to fry them. So I have some Italian bread here, and basically about the size of my tomato, I'm cutting rounds out of the bread here. So I have my rounds right here, and all I'm going to do is fry these. Now you'll notice that they're just about the size of my tomato there too. I need to make sure that they're both all about the same size, and we will have a little shrinkage here. Now what I do is I simply take my rounds here, and in this pan right here, I'm going to use this pan to fry these. Now I have some oil in here with some butter, and I'm just going to drop my bread in there and let that fry. I also need to fry some tomatoes. So I have my tomatoes right here, and what I'm going to do with the tomato is we're going to use the fatter part of the tomato, and we're going to cut this. I'll show you the actual thickness. See the thickness here? I'm only going to get about 3 cuts out of, or maybe even 2 cuts out of every tomato. Then I take this tomato and I'm going to dredge it in flour before I fry it. So to my flour now, to flavor it, I have some onion powder there, and I have some garlic powder. And I'm also going to use just a little bit of salt here and a little bit of pepper. Now we're going to just mix this up, and the tomato we just simply dredge well in the flour. Skin on, seeds intact, everything together. Now these are ready to go into the oil there once the crouton here is done. Let me just get my little spatula right here. Look at our croutons. I can tell these are done because it's golden brown on the side there. See the gray color? And this is going to get really nice and crisp. It's going to have the flavor of the butter and the flavor of the oil. So these are almost ready to go. We then now take our tomatoes, drop them in the same pan, and we're going to fry them up too. Now my croutons here are done, so let's just go ahead and get these out because these will continue to cook after you remove them. So I'm just going to remove these croutons here and let them drain. Now this is a warm salad, and when we use the term timbal, that means that it's going to have a shape or a form to it. So let's see how our tomatoes are doing here. Just turn them over. We're just warming them. You see how you get that nice crust on them? Almost like a fried green tomato. Okay. Those are almost done. Now we need to make our dressing now. To make our dressing, right here, in this pan right here, I have a little bacon that's cooked. What I'm going to do with this bacon is I'm going to take the bacon now, put this over here because I need the bacon nice and crisp. Now the fat that's in here is actually going to be used to make my dressing. So what I do with that is I have a little bit of sugar here. To this sugar, I'm going to dissolve this with a little bit of water. We're going to turn the pan down now, shut it off actually, and I'm going to actually deglaze this with the sugar and the water. This way, when I add my balsamic, I'm going to take this off the heat here for a second. Be careful, the oil can splash. This way, when I add my balsamic vinegar, the pan is cooled down enough and my vinegar won't reduce too much. So we add our balsamic vinegar, then we add our olive oil to this. We also add our grapes to this, some white grapes here. Okay, perfect. Now these tomatoes look, perfect. These tomatoes have the perfect color that I like to. Again, remember, everything is warm. So now just take these tomatoes out, put them on the side over here too. Then I'll show you how you put this whole salad together. To put the salad together, we'll take our dressing, season it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Then we take our bacon that we removed from it, and you just chop the bacon. Just chop the bacon nice and fine here, making sure it's nice and crisp, still warm. This now goes in the pan too. So now we have our dressing. Just add a few herbs to that too. It's always good to add some herbs to this. And we're ready to actually build the salad. Now to build the salad, bring my plate, I'll put it right here. Here's my tomatoes with my crouton rounds. Need a spoon because now what I do is I take a crouton round here and I take just a little bit of the dressing just onto that crouton round. Then we take a tomato, a little bit of dressing, even have a grape in there, another crouton. Then we take a little bit more dressing right here, right on top. Another tomato. See how that stacks nicely? See how gorgeous that looks? Then we take, of course, some of the dressing here, right on top, and then right around the plate. Now everything is going to be really nicely dressed with this. You have great flavors and textures going on there, and it's a perfect warm tomato salad. The only other thing I wanted to show you, and that's why I was grabbing a leek, to cut the, scallion here, to cut the garnish for this, what I do is I just take the green part of the scallion here and I slice it on a bias, nice and thin like this. Then we can take the scallion here, put this right on top. And Norm, I think You might be able to you have a shot on that. See how pretty that is? Absolutely delicious, warm, fried tomato, timbal salad. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, we're making a delicious al fresco light summer tomato sauce with garlic, coriander, croutons. It's Tomahto today on Let's Cook. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Tomahto today on Let's Cook. Oh, God's fruit, God's vegetable. Now, in this pan right over here to make this next dish, I have some butter with some olive oil. To this now, I'm going to add some coriander and some garlic. Now, I heated this up so that the garlic just barely starts to brown and we bring the flavor of the coriander out. Then what I do is I take this now, shut this off. I take my croutons that I have right here, just, Italian bread, and I brush them with this butter olive oil mixture. Get a good splash on here. The coriander with the garlic goes very well with the way I'm using tomatoes in this next dish, which is a penne dish. We simply take these now, we pop them under the broiler here, and I already have some done right here so you can see exactly what they look like. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make our sauce. Now this is an al fresco tomato sauce that we're making. Now to make the al fresco tomato sauce, I have some garlic here. It's slivered. So I'm going to take this garlic right here that's slivered, put this in the pan, and I'm going to let this just start to cook until it barely starts to brown on the edges. So that's going to take about a half a minute. And let me see, I have a minute timer that I'm using now that's very good. I'll have to show it to you before the show is over. In this pan now, I'm going to take this other pan now with a little bit more oil, and I'm going to fry up some basil leaves that I have right here as a garnish for this. That's going to take just a second. Now, look at here. My garlic is starting to do what? It's starting to brown on the edges. In go my tomatoes. We then season this with salt, with pepper, and all we're doing is heating these tomatoes now. No stock in this, salt, pepper, garlic, olive oil. Then we take marjoram, parsley, basil. We're just going to put this in here just till that changes color and starts to wilt. While that's going on, let's see if our basil is ready to fry here. Drop that in the pan there. Nope, not ready yet. So we're going to wait for that oil to come up a little bit, but we'll come back to this now. Look at this. See how beautiful this looks? It looks alive, doesn't it? Here's what I love about this. You can serve this cold, you can serve this warm, or you could serve it hot. The way I like it in the summer is I like to take it now, just put this nice and hot over some hot penne right there that I have right in the bowl here. This goes right here. Then take fresh mozzarella that's just diced, put this around it, and then finish this with fresh cracked black pepper, all on top, real coarse. You want this to be real coarse. Then, let's see if I think our oil is ready to fry the basil leaves. Oh, yes it is. There we go. These only take about, a half a minute to fry. Those go very fast, but I already have some here so you can see how pretty they look when they go on the dish. The fried basil leaves right here. Let's get these out because these are almost ready here now too. These go very, very fast. You see how firm they get? Very fast. This is a great way to preserve basil too, by the way, if you want to go through the process. But you can see how fast they fry up. And then, of course, to finish this, we'll just take our croutons right here and just put a few croutons in here too. We're going to take a little break. And going along with our tomato theme, we're going to make some sun-dried tomato dusted scallops. Don't go anywhere. It's Tomahto today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to the apple of love. That's what the tomato is according to the French. Now, this next dish, I'm actually going to be using these sun-dried tomatoes. Now see these sun-dried tomatoes? These are sun-dried tomatoes that you can buy in the market. You can see the difference in these too compared to this one here, which is the oven-dried tomato. There's a big difference there. So now all I'm going to do with these is I put them in my coffee grinder here, and I grind them up. It takes a little while, and you need to make sure that they're very dry, and they're going to dry up into a powder. Once they're in a powder form, this is what they look like. See what I have right here? See this wonderful dark powder? Now what I do with this powder is I take and I add a little bit of onion powder here, a little bit of garlic powder, and just a tablespoon of flour. We mix this together, and this is just going to flavor our scallops really nicely. Now, I've heated my pan here, and I have a little bit of oil in my pan. Then what I do is I take my scallops, which are right here, which I dried. I season them with salt. I season them with pepper. And we'll turn them over and make sure that we get them seasoned on all sides. A little salt, a little bit of pepper. Then, the easiest way is actually to take this powder right here, kind of sprinkle it on top of them that way. This way you don't contaminate your dust. See, this dust, now I can still use this dust right here because I've only used enough for my scallops. Then take these, and I'm just going to dredge them on all sides now, right on the plate right here. And we're going to drop them into the pan and let these start to sear off. So let's get these going here. Let's get my pan a little hotter there too. And we're just going to sear these off. And then to go with these, we're going to make a little bit of spinach. Did you know there's over 10,000, excuse me, varieties of tomatoes? That it is really, the Aztecs were the first to cultivate them, 700 BC. That it's the most popular vegetable in America. So we're searing off our scallops that are coated with the sun-dried tomato flour or dust. Now, in this pan right here, I'm heating this pan. To this pan, I have a little bit of garlic here. In addition to my garlic, I have some shallots. Then I'm just going to add some baby spinach here. Along with the baby spinach here, I'm going to put in a splash of water, just a splash, and season this with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Now all we're going to do is wilt this very quickly. Once it starts to wilt, it's key. We're going to put in just a little bit of nutmeg right here. Just a pinch of nutmeg is really going to bring the flavor of that spinach out. Now this is wilted well enough, so that's good to go. Let's look at our scallops now. Scallops should not be overcooked, and they should be cooked until they're just opaque in the middle here. So you see what I'm doing here? See how I'm just turning these? And I can tell by the firmness of these that these are almost done. These are not that large a sea scallop. So we're just going to take that now. Let these continue to cook. Finish a little bit of chive here in my spinach now too. Now I'm actually ready to start to plate this. To plate this now, I'll bring my plate right over here. To plate this, I have a ring mold right here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my spinach now and set it up in this ring mold. And I don't do this often, but I think that this is going to be very pretty. And then we take this, press this down a little bit, and remove that. So we have a nice shape to our spinach. Very easily done. Then, let's shut off our scallops because these are now good to go. We now take our scallops, set these up on the plate here, just going right around the spinach. Oh, out of this world. Then, in the bottom of the pan here, where I have the other scallops here, remember my oven-dried tomatoes? I'm just going to take these, warm these up a little bit, set these up right here beside my spinach, and then to finish this, I just take a little bit of the oil here from the pan that my scallops were in, And I put that just on the bottom of the plate, ever so little amount. Not too much, just to flavor it. Tomatoes, 10,000 varieties. Excellent antioxidant properties. Thank you for watching Tomahto today on Let's Cook. You have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.